afternoon, and welcome to the American Bar Association's 2023 Law Day launch event. My name is John Gunn, and I'm thrilled to be with you today. I am a Missouri lawyer, past president of the Missouri Bar, and can happily convey I'm a career-long member of the ABA, currently serving on the ABA's Standing Committee on Public Education, and as a member of the House of Delegates as state delegate for the state of Missouri. Perhaps most importantly for today, I'm a member of the Law Day Committee and will be your host for this virtual program. We are energized that you've all joined us to launch the ABA's 2023 Law Day campaign. If you have any questions during the program, please use the Q&A function in the webinar, which we'll be monitoring throughout the day. Law Day was established in 1958 by President Eisenhower to honor the rule of law and the creation of the United States of America. 3 years later, Congress passed a joint resolution establishing May 1st as Law Day. While most Law Day related activities will occur close to the traditional May 1 date, in order to reach as many minds as possible, the ABA campaign will run from March through May. Serendipitously, this launch is occurring at the start of National Civic Learning Week, and we welcome those joining us today and the efforts of that campaign to help celebrate the rule of law. The beauty of Law Day is that anyone can participate, from organizations like the ABA, to groups like the PTO at your kid's school, to individuals like you and me. There's a way for all of us to engage and promote the rule of law and facilitate a deeper understanding of U.S. civics. Our program today will help with these endeavors in a few different ways. We'll start with exploring the 2023 Law Day theme and ABA President Deborah Enox Ross's Cornerstones of Democracy effort with President Enox Ross herself. Then we will share some specific programming ideas developed by groups around the country that we hope will inspire you to continue engagement with Law Day in your own communities. And we'll close with a review of prepared resources available to all on our dedicated website, www.lawday.org. It is now my unique privilege and honor to introduce you to ABA President Deborah Enox Ross. Deborah is a senior advisor to the International Dispute Resolution Group of Debevoise and Plimpton in New York City. She has served as chair of the ABA's Policy-Making House of Delegates, chair of the ABA Center for Human Rights, and a chair of the ABA International Law Section, where she co-founded its Women's Interest Network. She also led an international legal exchange delegation to Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Ghana. Before Deborah joined Debevoise and Plimpton in 2002, she served as senior legal officer with the Arbitration and Mediation Center of the World Intellectual Property Organization in Geneva, Switzerland. She also was a director of international litigation with Price Waterhouse and the American representative to the International Chamber of Commerce International Court of Arbitration. She started her legal career as a legal aid lawyer with MFY Legal Services in New York City. Welcome, Madam President.
Rule number one, take yourself off mute when you're saying thank you. Oh, John, thank you so much for that kind introduction. And thank you to everyone who's joined us on this webinar, for all that you're doing in your communities to promote Law Day. We just, more than ever, we really need to trumpet the importance of the rule of law and the role of lawyers in our democracy. And really your efforts are critical in helping us to do this.
Deborah, could you give us maybe a bird's eye view of the theme for 2023 Law Day, Cornerstones of Democracy, Civics, Civility, and Collaboration, and maybe let us know why you chose this theme and what you think its significance is?
Yes, I'm happy to do that. So let me start by saying, I think most Americans see our era now as one of combative polarization. And that can poison our body politic and it corrodes confidence in our courts and our systems of law. A critical area in which we have an impact is our commitment to public education about our legal and justice systems. We know that confidence in our courts and our justice system is experiencing, unfortunately, a downward trend. According to a recent survey by the National Center for State Courts, confidence in federal courts dropped from 60% in 2021 to 57% in 2022. Confidence in state courts dropped from 64% in 2021 to 60% in 2022, and confidence in the U.S. Supreme Court went from 63% in 2021 to 53% in 2022. And that's already troubling, but just as troubling is Americans are losing faith in the court's ability to deliver on the key promise of equal justice for all. A recent ABA survey found that 52% of respondents agreed with this agreed with this quote, that justice system has racial bias built into its rules, procedures, and practices. Among young people aged 18 to 36, 63% said that there was racial bias. And Black people continue to see racial bias at a higher level than other groups. So while 48% of white people see racial bias, 54% of Hispanics see racial bias, but 75% of Black people responded that there's racial bias in our judicial system. So there are many possible ways to respond to these troubling statistics, and I believe that they clearly illustrate the need for civics education in our schools and public education in our communities about how citizens can engage with government and each other civilly and collaboratively. And so that was the impetus for our Cornerstones of Democracy initiative. We have to elevate the 3 C's, civic, civility, and collaboration, for all to see and hear. Because if we don't, our justice system will lose another C, and that's confidence from the public. And we just cannot allow yet another C, cynicism, to drown out the value of law and democracy as a guarantor of liberty, justice, opportunity, human rights, dignity, and peace. So for Law Day and throughout this year, we can encourage civil discourse on contested issues that we wish to see in our community. So I know that's a long answer, but that really was the spark for me that contributed to why we're focused this year on those cornerstones of democracy.
And it's a great answer and terrific motivation. And you mentioned this, the Cornerstones of Democracy initiative goes well beyond Law Day. What other sorts of related activities and topics are being done to advance these themes?
Yeah, so aside from Law Day, we're encouraging bars and community groups to offer Cornerstones of Democracy discussions throughout the year. We have discussion guides and other materials, and they're all available at ambar.org/cornerstones. We've created a website just to house all of the information. The National Conference of Bar Presidents featured Cornerstones at the ABA's mid-year meeting in February. And we heard about programs such as Louisiana has a program called Judges in the Classroom. And that is a phenomenal program where judges go into the classrooms and speak with students, and then students come into the courtroom as well. I have to shout out my home city, New York City Bar Association. It has a new task force on civics education, and they're collaborating, one of those C's, with the New York City Department of Education's Civics for All initiative. So those are just a few examples of what we're doing throughout the year.
And I understand that you served as a poll worker on Election Day in November. How did that service dovetail with the Cornerstones? And maybe tell us a little bit about how the ABA's Poll Worker Esquire initiative works.
Yeah, so my feeling was that, a nation that's committed to civic education, you cannot function without your citizens who help ensure that when we go to the polls, that they operate smoothly, and that everyone who is eligible to vote has the opportunity to vote. So most jurisdictions have a perennial challenge in hiring sufficient numbers of poll workers to oversee our elections. Again, free and fair elections are critical to democracy. And we thought that lawyers are especially suited to serve as poll workers. And that's why we created this outreach called Poll Worker Esquire. So I served in my home jurisdiction in New Jersey on November 8th for the general election. I got up well before sunrise because the polls open at 6, but poll workers have to arrive early. They have to arrive at 5 a.m. And we stay until the poll closes at 8, but we let the last voters vote. And for me, it really reaffirms, really, the passion that Americans of all backgrounds have in selecting their government representatives. So we as citizens, we have the ability to step in and to make sure that that process runs smoothly. And I would encourage you to encourage everyone you know to serve as a poll worker, but especially lawyers and law students and legal professionals, because that I think is a way that we can demonstrate how we are working together to ensure our democracy.
And the poll working is important and fulfilling, I can say from experience.
Yes, yes.
We heard, Deborah, a little bit about your legal career which is focused on international dispute resolution. How do you feel your background informs the relevance of Cornerstones, and perhaps especially as it relates to civility and collaboration?
Yeah, so as you've said, my background is in international arbitration and dispute resolution. Already in international arbitration, you are bringing together different legal systems, civil legal systems, as well as different cultures and customs. And I think that really gives you a heightened sense of what it means to be civil and how you conduct yourselves in our dispute resolution process, especially on the international level. So for me, it was quite natural to be able to then pivot towards the three C's. And interestingly, when I am speaking to international audiences, I replace the first C, civics, with the notion of either citizenship or civilization. And when I say that, people know automatically what I'm talking about, which is to be engaged as citizens in our process. And I think those of us who are involved in dispute resolution, as ADR is, are acutely aware of the importance of being able to come to resolution, to be able to do that in a civil manner and a productive manner.
And this year, of course, as you know, and as I think most of our audience probably knows by now, we will celebrate the 65th anniversary of Law Day. At the top of the program, I mentioned the creation of Law Day by President Eisenhower in 1958. Could you please talk to us about how Law Day started, how the world in 1958 was especially ripe for the concept, and how Law Day remains relevant to us today?
Yeah, so it is especially important for us as an ABA audience to recognize that Law Day began as an initiative of then ABA President Charlie Ryan. He was close with the White House counsel, and the White House counsel then convinced President Eisenhower to declare May 1 as Law Day to celebrate the rule of law. And this was against the background and in stark contrast to the Soviet Union's Rule of Force Day, which was their May Day parades that featured tanks and weaponry. And in every year since then, the President of the United States has issued a Law Day declaration that underscores the year's Law Day theme. But it started in the ABA. It started as a response to be able to talk about the rule of law and why it was important for every citizen to understand the importance of the rule of law, how it protects our democracy and protects our freedoms. So in 2023, we will continue to demonstrate why the rule of law matters and how we promote peaceful and productive relations through civil discourse and our legal and judicial processes.
Now, could you maybe tell us about any law days in the past that were particularly meaningful to you, or maybe what inspired you to be a lawyer?
Yeah, so, and this is particularly poignant for me because today I'm at my firm at Debevoise in New York, and we just had high school students, 10th graders, come for career day, and they spent time with different people in our firm, not just lawyers, but it reminded me of what sparked my desire to be a lawyer, and that was a field trip that I took in 6th grade. And you know how excited students are to get out of the classroom. We took a field trip, New York City Public School, and we went down to the Supreme Court in New York. The Supreme Court is our lowest level court, and we went and observed a courtroom and observed a judge. And I remember saying, look at that. It was a man who was there, and he seemed so smart and so fair and so even. And I asked my teacher, who is that? And she said, that's a judge. And I said, well, how do you become a judge? And she said, you have to go to law school and then you can become a judge. And I think that's what sparked my desire to be a lawyer. It was seeing that judge in action, seeing how he treated everyone that came before that courtroom and how fair and balanced he was. And I thought that's something that I want to be a part of.
Well, it's a terrific start to a terrific career. We thank you, President Enix Ross. Your energy and thoughtful enthusiasm are just contagious. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and really all the work that you're doing, and everyone that we're doing, everything that you guys are doing. It really it has an impact. So thank you very much.
Certainly, and we appreciate President Enix Ross's passion for this project, and certainly look forward to seeing that passion amplified around the country.
Yes, absolutely.
And now we will hear from some specific programs to share some of their outstanding plans for Law Day 2023. First, Carrie Burns with the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association is joining us to discuss their Law Week. Carrie?
Hi, thank you, John. I am going to share a few slides, so please bear with me. All right, are you seeing my presenter mode or the slideshow?
Slideshow.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you all. Like John said, Carrie Burns. I am with the Cleveland Metro Bar Association in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm going to show you a couple things. The CMBA's mission and values. Our vision is to serve as the indispensable go-to organization on matters of law and justice. And one of our missions is to promote the rule of law and the legal profession. So Law Week is near and dear to our hearts. And as you can tell, I keep referring to it as Law Week because we do celebrate Law Day, but it has grown. Like you said, over the next few months, you guys will be celebrating Law Day. We also have celebrated Law Week, Law 2 Weeks, the month of May. And so an initiative that we developed through our Thought Leadership Committee last year was Defending Democracy. We had a number of programs that came under this umbrella in Ohio. I'm sure many of you have heard we have quite the redistricting debacle going on. And it was really a discussion about the rule of law. And so we, I think, had about 5 discussions over the course of a year and a half about redistricting and what was going on and keeping our legal community updated. We've talked about the Ohio Constitution. We also trained our lawyers to be poll workers. I was a poll worker as well last November. And then also Judge for Yourself is a long-standing judicial ratings coalition that we review judicial candidates and provide ratings to the public during the election. Law Week 2022, we, like I said, was a week. We partner with our local City Club of Cleveland. They are a free speech forum. So they have had a Law Day forum the Friday of the Law Week for decades now. And so we partner with them on that. You can see here, there were many different programs we held during Law Week. In fact, we did have an ABA exhibit, the Lawyers Without Rights exhibit, about lawyers during Nazi Germany. We also invited a former ABA president, Betsy Anderson, and the World Justice Project. She came and spoke to our membership about the World Justice Project and just how poorly the United States fares in that global rule of law index. We partnered with our local playhouse to view To Kill a Mockingbird. Like I said, we did the City Club Forum, and then also we partnered with the American Constitution Society. Former Senator Russ Feingold, I believe last year was the president. He came in, he spoke to our group about the Supreme Court, the US Supreme Court. And then what's happening? How do we follow up Law Week 2022? Well, Law Week 2023 is still in the works, but we have confirmed, because this redistricting issue has been so big in Ohio, our former Supreme Court Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor, who just stepped off the bench, she is leading an effort for a constitutional amendment in Ohio. So she is going to come talk with the Ohio League of Women Voters about the rule of law, about redistricting in Ohio, how it can be changed. The City Club, like I said, who partners with us on Law Day, they have invited William Barr to speak. And then we also have partnered, as we do every year, to have a brief advice clinic with the Cleveland Legal Aid Society. So still more in the works, still to come, but Law Week 2023 is off to a good start as well. And that's it for me.
Well, thank you, Carrie. You offer a spectacular demonstration of the enormity of the importance of the rule of law, and also a great reminder that there are innumerable recognizable voices in your community who would jump at the chance to participate.
Yes.
Next, we're going to hear from Benjamin Gordon, an attorney with Naylor and Braster in Las Vegas, and he is joined by Captain Ray C. Petty of the United States Air Force. They're setting up Law Day plans with Creech Air Force Base in Clark County, Nevada. Welcome, Ben and Captain Petty. Did we lose them?
Hi, we're here. Can you help us with it? It's not allowing me to turn on the video. Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
Okay, here we go. There we are. Hi, sorry for that. Captain Petty, if you'd like to speak first.
Absolutely. Well, super grateful to be here. Thank you for everyone that has spoken so far. Just learning a lot just by being before you. But Law Day 2023 will occur here at Creech Air Force Base on May 4th. And we're excited because we have a breakdown of a morning session, afternoon session. Our morning session will basically consist of some of our community outreach partners coming out to our courtroom and essentially teaching and educating our attorneys on family law and landlord tenant law. And it's not just Creech Air Force Base that will be in attendance, our counterparts, we're the base up north. So we also have Nellis Air Force Base in the area who will also be attending, most likely virtual. But those are two areas of the law that we typically see the most of our clients in. So it's just great for the collaboration piece of this Law Day theme to educate and also just inform our current attorneys when it comes to legal assistance. And our afternoon portion will consist of a Law Day fair. And I kind of coincide that also with recruitment, and also it goes to our civics portion. So for our afternoon event, we're looking to have, of course, the fair, but we're doing things like blood drives, voter registration drives, and we're also going to have a lot of our base agencies, law enforcement agencies, such as our military police and our area defense councils and things of that nature, entities of that nature. That's on one side. And then, of course, our great community outreach partners at the Clark County Bar Association. We're excited about it. This is about information and education, and we're excited about the opportunity to host Law Day at our base.
Thank you. As John said, my name is Benjamin Gordon. I'm the chair of the Clark County Bar Association's Community Service Committee, And part of our focus is community outreach. And we were so honored that Captain Petty and the Creech Air Force Base reached out to us for this opportunity to help assist them and support them in their Law Day efforts. And we just are really welcome to being able to participate in this, and we're very excited to be a part of this great event.
Well, thank you, Ben and Captain Petty. What a fantastic way of tying in the ABA Cornerstones while also having a little fun. We appreciate it. And finally, our colleagues at the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Kansas provided a video and a presentation to share their Law Day efforts.
Hello. Last year, the United States Bankruptcy Court for the District of Kansas hosted a Law Day program, which was a tremendous success. We are planning on hosting another program this year. Here are excerpts from last year's program, which was 100% planned and produced by the people in the United States Bankruptcy Court Clerk's Office.
So here are some of the jobs the careers that you can have in the federal judiciary, and you are welcome in the federal judiciary. We're looking for diversity, and that includes diversity of different kinds of career options.
Today we will be witnessing a mock trial presented to you by my very own school, UMKC. I hope that we will take this day to understand the importance of the judiciary and our civic duties in society. Thank you all again, and I hope you enjoy your time here.
Members of the jury, it is now time for you to deliberate and proceed with your deliberations to reach a verdict. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then your foreperson will announce the verdict.
We will have the Bench Bar Committee introduce the first ever Julie A. Robinson Award.
It's my privilege today to introduce the inaugural award for Judge Julie A. Robinson. The award is presented by the Bankruptcy Court for the District of Kansas. It's named after Judge Robinson, who's here on the bench today. Unanimous choice for the first award is its namesake, Judge Julie A. Robinson.
But I have to tell you that 50 years ago, I could not have imagined myself sitting as a federal judge on this bench. I thought I knew I wanted to be a lawyer, but I wasn't even sure that was going to happen. I think the important thing, and really in high school it's pretty early to figure out what you want to do in life. Some people have figured it out, but many more have not. But the important thing, I think, is to not let yourself be limited in terms of where you're going to go and what you're going to do, because the world just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the horizon just keeps getting brighter and brighter for all of us. And so I could not have dreamed of that, but I'm glad at some point I decided that I would try, that it was available to me. I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this week for about a week, attending a big judges meeting. And at one point, all of the African American women federal judges took a picture together with our newest Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. And that was a very special moment for all of us. And obviously she has a lot of joy. I will tell you, 50 years ago, not only did I not see myself on the federal court, but I don't think I really thought that in my lifetime I would see an African American woman on a woman on the Supreme Court. I didn't think I'd see an African American male or woman as president, or a woman as president, and I now believe all of those things may happen in my lifetime. So I think the key for all of us is to learn and to be open to learning, and that's what Law Day is really all about.
In 2021, through the efforts of our clerk and judges, the Bankruptcy Court formed the Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach Committee. One of our objectives is to reach out to the community to inspire youth to consider a career in law or the judiciary. With Law Day already being established with similar objectives, it was a perfect fit to merge the two initiatives. We invited a local youth group to attend who served as the jury for the mock trial. In visiting with the youth before the trial, I found that some were excited, some were fearful of the judicial system, and some were even indifferent. However, at the end of the trial, I was pleased to find that those same students became engaged in the process. They were full of enthusiasm and were even inquisitive about the law itself, and only talked about the trial on their three-way, 3-hour trip back home. Even the judges that participated were elated. And with our continued outreach and community connections, we anticipate even more youth participation this year. The success of the program left me with a great sense of pleasure to know that our efforts may one day have a positive impact on the future of a more diverse and inclusive judiciary. With that said, I look forward to future law days, and I hope we'll see you there.
Well, we thank the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Kansas for giving us an idea as to what an accessible program might look like, reaching students right when they might start embracing social justice and appreciate the understanding of rights and responsibilities under the law. And thank you very much to all of our panelists for sharing their efforts and ideas, and we hope our audience is as grateful as we are for your direction. As a reminder, please submit any questions in the Q&A function so that we can best address what it is that you, our audience, would like to know. I'd now like to invite Sharon Gersman, National Law Day Chair, to join us and discuss the programming resources available at www.lawday.org. Sharon?
Thank you, John. Hi, I'm Sharon Stern-Gersman, a 42-year member of the ABA from Buffalo, New York, and I'm honored to be the National Law Day Chair this year. The ABA offers many resources for planning, participating in, or sharing your organization's Law Day programs. You will find it all at www.lawday.org. Let me take just a couple of minutes to share a few things that are available at this website. First and foremost, you'll find substantive resources related to this year's themes, Cornerstones of Democracy. These include lesson plans for each of the different levels K-12 for anyone that wants to go into a classroom. You will also find essay and discussion prompts for contests, public programs, or other events that you may be organizing. Now, what is Law Day without Law Day merch? You'll find both classic and 2023 themed t-shirts, backpacks, bookmarks, magnets, grab bags, all sorts of things for you to add prizes or embellishments to your programs. Notice that there is a coupon that is available until March 15 that will save you 15%. Also, continue to watch this website, www.lawday.org, for all of the exciting programs that the ABA will be putting on, and more for that as we progress toward Law Day. If you are planning activities in your community, whether virtual or in person, check out the graphic and other resources available for download and customization. You'll find that the 2023 Law Day logos, custom Zoom backgrounds, and language for your own Law Day PSA. There's also a proclamation template that could be customized to your own state or local government so that you can have your own Law Day proclamation. And there is a calendar where you can add your programs and see what other programs are happening around your area or around the country. 2023 is the 65th year of Law Day, and we're trying to highlight that history. If you're a longtime Law Day participant or just someone who likes history, there's a lot to interest you. Law Day has had a presidential proclamation every year since 1958, and we have all of those. There are also articles about the Cold War origins of Law Day and newspaper clippings from early years. If you enjoy old advertisements, there are plenty of Law Day ads and program covers. And for a particular treat, my favorite, There are radio PSAs from celebrities of 1968, including LBJ, Thurgood Marshall, Mickey Mantle, and Rosalind Russell. These are truly timeless. Please check them out. The last thing I will tell you is about the Law Day Activity Showcase. It's a web page where you can see what organizations have done in the recent past for Law Day. There is a simple form for you to fill out in order to add your program once it's been completed, and then it will be added to the showcase. In short, don't plan your Law Day events without stopping by www.lawday.org. And if you find something there you would like to use, it's free for the taking. So happy planning.
Thank you, Sharon, for highlighting lawday.org as such a vast resource for our audience members to prepare for their own Law Day activities. Thank you also to President Enix Ross, our panelists, again to Sharon Gersman, and to all of you for joining us for this launch event. We'd like to close by again encouraging use of the lawday.org site to assist in participating in a way that fits you or your organization. And we join you in looking forward to a terrific Law Day 2023. Thank you for joining us.